How is it going to be different, though? Because Rangnick came in, great reputation, going to play pressing football. You're all going to be impressed. They did it for one game. So why is it going to be different with Ten Hag?
I always think when you come in as a manager just temporary, you're what we always call in football, you're naked in that dressing room. You know, players know you're not going to be there. They're not really pushing, they're not trying too hard. You know, who's going to be the next manager? Players are onto their agents. It's not quite got that feel. But right now, they know that they've got a guy that's going to be there for 3, 4, 5 years, hopefully. You know, it can change because there's a lot of people at the club, pundits. There's a real, you know, Man United is one of the most talked about clubs because of the success they've had in the past. So that brings enormous pressure on him. So I think he'll have to be really strong-willed. He'll have to have a look at the players that he wants to keep because there'll be a few that he'll be going, well, they don't look a good player right now. But if you get the right players around them, they can change. It can bring a different culture. You can start to see a bit of quality there with some of them. Because at the moment, you look and think, well, who would you want to keep? But as quickly as that can look so bad, it can change with getting 1 or 2 good players in. Now, when you say players, who do you get? It's not as easy. The ideal one, like West Ham fans won't thank me for it, but you want good, honest, great pros that can really play. People like Declan Rice. That's the market they've got to be looking for, that can work hard in training, play the right way. Could you go and get Harry Kane from Tottenham in the summer? I'm not saying he's going to lead Tottenham, but that's the sort of player that you need. Players that are going to come in there and set the right culture, play with the right endeavour that you need to play for Manchester United and be fearless as well.
But you touched on it. Is it an attractive enough place for the likes of Declan Rice and Harry Kane at the moment?
That's the problem. But you've got to make it attractive. You've got to say this is the project. This is what we're going to do. We're going to, the training ground needs obviously overhauling. They talk about the stadium. It's Manchester United. I listen to a lot. There's a really strong debate. Gary Neville's side of it is it's the owners. It starts from the top, and then you talk to obviously Graham will say, well, as a player, you don't really care who the managers are. Now I'm halfway between that because at Liverpool I didn't care who the owners were. I just wanted to play for the team, play for the fans, produce it week in, week out. At Manchester United, they play well. You're playing in front of one of the biggest stadiums, the biggest crowds. Why don't you want to do it for that team? And it feels that with the right players coming in, it can quickly change. It can go the right direction, but it's not going to happen overnight, Mike. It's going to take a long time. And by giving a manager who's got a bit of presence about him this opportunity, now, who knows, can he be a Jurgen Klopp? I'm not quite sure he's that same demeanour. He seems quite quiet from people I speak to in Ajax. He's a sort of quite a reserved figure. But he's obviously, when he stands there on the touchline, you can see, and his tactics are very good. Dutch football's completely different to English football, but I think he's a good fit for United. Does he keep Cristiano Ronaldo? That's a good question, Mike. Look, Cristiano Ronaldo has done some incredible things for the club this year. He scored plenty of hat-tricks. He's been, I don't know what their points would be without his goals. And there's a lot bigger problems at Manchester United than Cristiano Ronaldo right now. And I think if you get him in next year and he works the right way, and he might be a situation where he doesn't play every game, you're going to use him in the right matches and know that he can't play forever. We all know that. But I think to say that that's one of the first things on your agenda would be really unkind on Cristiano Ronaldo, because his goals have been incredible this year. I think the players that you're looking at more are the likes of Marcus Rashford. What's his plan with him? Can somebody get a tune out of him? He's not really, in my opinion, improved since he was 19. I've not seen any change in his game. I want to see more effort from him. He's got all the ability in the world. He might be the sort of player that Ten Hag might go, you know what, I can find something for him. I can find a position. If he doesn't, then maybe it might be time for him to move on. Players like Sancho got good ability, but can he show it time in, time out? So there is a lot of ifs and buts coming in. But with a new manager that you respect and that's been there for a long time, who knows? He might be able to get the best out of him, because there is a player in Marcus Rashford. We all know that. We've seen it over time, but he just needs somebody to get it out of him right now and improve him. And you see with the signings and the recruitment they've made, if whatever they've spent, I'm not sure, is it millions of pounds? I can't think of too many players that have gone there and improved, where you go, look at him as a player. Now, if you took the opposite, where Man City's recruitment, and you say, look at the players that they've improved. Now, that obviously comes with a manager and working with good players and a good culture every day. It's night and day. And it's the same with Liverpool, and that's what they have to start doing. Their recruitment has to be so much better than what it is. You're not producing Harlem Globetrotters here. You're producing a team that's going to be effective in the Premier League.
Well, you just mentioned them, City and Liverpool. Gary Neville said 3, 4, 5 years, United should be challenging winning trophies. Will they be?
It can be. I went through a very... when I was at Liverpool, if you would have said... I remember signing a 17-year-old for Liverpool, and was it 91? And at that time, they'd just won the Premier League. If you would have said it would have taken 30 years for them to win another one, you'd have gone, you need help. And that's what happened to Liverpool. Yeah. It took forever. It took, and the stick that the team got, the stick that our team's got that I played in, it took a long, long time. And it was only when they finally got a Jurgen Klopp at the club that things started to change. They went through really good managers. They obviously had Champions League success. It was hard. There's nothing to say that this might go on for even longer, because cycles in football you've not got a Sir Alex Ferguson. It's very difficult to change. So for Man United's fans' point of view, of course they'll want that. But all I'm saying is, don't be surprised if it doesn't, because it happened to Liverpool for such a long time. They're going to be hoping that he's their Jurgen Klopp. That's what you need.